Hey lovelies, and welcome to the Koi Corner, Koi Wellness, where hormones get balanced, guts get healed, and we let that shit go. Literally and figuratively. And emotionally. Sometimes we need that too. Hi, I'm Kayla. I'm your holistic wellness coach, nutritionist, and your go-to girly for anything cycle syncing, detoxing, and building your body, building a body that you actually love living in. Yes. If you're into practical wellness with a little bit of sass and a little bit of science too, we like throwing that in every now and again. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and stay tuned. We drop weekly videos, movement videos, deep dive videos, all of that good stuff. So let's get into it. I've got my notes, I've got my laptop, I got my coffee. I'm ready to deep dive with you guys. There we go. Right, lovelies, today we are talking about why biohacking for women needs to change. And then on top of that, I'm also going to give you 10 free or cheap biohacks that you could literally start implementing today. And hopefully there's one or two that you've never heard of. Sounds good? Sounds good. If you've ever tried intermittent fasting, cold plunges, bulletproof coffee, and you felt worse rather than better, it's not you. It's because you're not a man. Basically, that's what it comes down to. Your body isn't a machine. It doesn't work on a 24-hour cycle, and your rhythm and system works slightly differently to a man's. And unfortunately, most of the wellness world has been geared towards men, studied on men, which has led us to having a very different experience as women. So today we're going to break down why most biohacking like tips and tricks and hacks and whatnot aren't really working for women and actually fail women, and how to start biohacking for you and your cycle, and that will actually be working for you and not against you. Why female biohacking basically needs its own rule book. That's what we're going to start off with. I'm going to just give you a little insight on why it needs to change first. Most of biohacking hacks were built and centered around males. Most data, we can say about 95% of data or of studies exclude cycling women. It's mostly done on men. We've got basically research data, medical data, science data on biohacks or biohacking that have been done on men. We don't have a very good idea of what works for women. And if you've been around for a little while, you've listened to some of my stuff, or you've follow some other amazing wellness practitioners that also talk about cycle syncing, you know that a woman works on a 28-day cycle and a man works on a 24-hour cycle. What does that exactly mean? It means our hormones fluctuate over a 28-day period, and a man's hormones fluctuate on a 24-hour period. On top of that, women's hormonal fluctuations vary drastically in comparison to males' hormones. Males' hormones peak slightly, drop slightly, peak slightly, drop slightly over a 24-hour cycle. Very marginal. They're very stable, steady human beings. You know, why for those of us who have husbands and boyfriends that are slightly with it, steady, stable, right? They hold the fort down. Women, on the other hand, our hormones fluctuate quite drastically over a 28-day period, which, as we know, as women, we know that we feel very different over the course of a month. From one week to the next, we can sometimes feel like completely different people. And that is just how we are built. And most of the wellness industry only does research on men. So we only have an idea of what works on men. And on top of that, research that has been done excluded women purposefully, because doing research on women who run on a 28-day cycle with hormones that are vastly changing makes the research more complex. My brain goes, just come up with a solution. But I digress. You're not there. So what works in the male body, for example, fasting, ice baths, keto, etc., can potentially spike cortisol and crash progesterone in women. And this essentially messes with fertility and mood. So not always, but it can, especially when you are doing certain things at certain times of your cycle. It can spike cortisol, crash progesterone. A lot of women, a lot of my clients already are coming to me with progesterone issues. So then to add fuel to the fire, because, oh my gosh, everyone's talking about keto or ice baths, I'm going to give it a go. And you're already struggling with progesterone, you're not 100% aware of it, and then you go, oh, this is working, everyone's raging about it, you do it, and then you actually feel even worse. Yes. Can you tell us? This is a topic for me. For women, cycle syncing and hormone tracking are absolutely essential for women's wellness. And it's actually, in my personal opinion, cycle syncing is a biohack in itself. This lays the foundation for biohacking, that cycle syncing and tracking your hormones. If you are hyper aware of where you are in your cycle, how your cycle is, how it reacts, how long, how many days it is, when you ovulate, when, all of that good stuff, it gives you a really good foundation to apply biohacks and make them super effective. You can't optimize a system if you don't understand the manual. Ding, ding, ding. If you are not aware of how your body works, if you don't know how it operates, how are you supposed to optimize it? We're just then doing whatever the fuck we want, basically. That doesn't make sense. So that just gives a little bit of a rundown on different things in regards to biohacking and how it's a little bit how we need to have a whole new manual, a whole new system, a whole new ideology on biohacking specifically for women, because the biohacks that are out there are designed for men. They've been researched on men and don't necessarily work for women. Or we need to be a bit more conscious on how we use these biohacks, because we're not men. So I'm going to go over 10 free, affordable biohacks. They're either free or they're super cheap, that you can basically start implementing today or within the next 3 days. So let me get my glasses. Let me bring this here. I've got them all here because I cannot remember all 10. So first off is cycle syncing. I feel like cycle syncing should be a biohack. It is a biohack in my personal opinion. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. If you understand how your cycle works, it means you can apply biohacks more effectively, more efficiently. And I'm a big fan of being effective and efficient. No time wasting on my clock. Also, you get to understand your body. You get to really become one with your body. It's an absolutely remarkable thing. We have this 28-day cycle, and we have these fluctuating hormones for a reason. And if we printer enters the conversation, and if we take a moment to really hone in and learn about how our body works, we could optimize so we can really use our system to our advantage, which I think is incredible. Our cycle could literally be our superpower. Next step number 2 is morning sunlight. This regulates cortisol as well as your circadian rhythm as well. Really good idea to get this in before 9 a.m. if possible. It doesn't have to be at the crack of dawn, okay? Bitch, I'm not getting up at 5 a.m. just to get the sunlight in my eyes. If you are a morning birdie, go for it. Get that first sunlight in. That's really, really great. But getting in 20 to 30 minutes before 9 a.m. is great. It helps quite significantly as well. It also helps estrogen and melatonin levels as well. Bonus there as well. Number 3, I've got my list over here. Number 3 is mineral-rich salt water in the morning specifically. I love to put Celtic salt in my water. It's absolutely phenomenal for rehydration, getting electrolytes in. I never buy fancy electrolyte powders. I think it's pointless. But I digress. If there is a company out there that has a product that is better than Celtic salt or can provide more right? Then something like a Celtic salt, go for it. You can also do the Himalayan pink salt as well. There is some debate about the quality of pink salt nowadays, but also I do understand Celtic salt can be quite expensive, depending on where you live and where you're getting it from. Like a pink salt can work just as good. So you just add this, you just add a pinch to your water in the morning. You can add lemon and chia as well. Lemon helps support the liver and help detox, will help support the liver to detox. And then the chia seeds are really great fiber, helps get the digestive system moving. This also supports adrenal health and as well as hydration, which is hydration is incredibly important. Our body really needs to be hydrated, which then obviously supports hormone transport as well. This is especially good for women who are burnt out, ladies who struggle with PMS symptoms, and fatigue as well. So I'm assuming most women who are watching this video are raising their hands right now. I'm like, yes, I'm burnt out. It really does help with the adrenals, helps with all that good stuff. Number 4, no bullshit breathing. Just breathe, actually. Good breathing. This is a really, really great, easy, simple one that you could literally start right now. If you wanted to, when this video finishes, go over to my channel, go check. I drop weekly, I call them no bullshit breathing exercises. They're not meditations. They are breathing exercises. And you're going to have a little bit of a giggle while you do some breathing. But it's just, the point is take 5 minutes just to take a few deep breaths. This helps regulate the nervous system, which obviously equals better hormones as well. Just, it's a good idea. 5 minutes, that's all you need. Just do 5 minutes a day. Just take some deep breathing, get some oxygen into the body, get some oxygen into the blood, and just calm down for a moment. You can also try things like box breathing, lion's breath, fire breath. Fire breath, is that correct? I stand to be corrected. The other one is like shouting loudly. You can also just scream. I'll scream into a pillow even if you're scared that people are going to hear you. There are different styles and types of breathing. I honestly focus on just taking a damn breath, because right now we are so overstimulated, so overwhelmed with all these crazy things. And then you're like, well, which breath is good for me? Am I supposed to do it this way or this way? I'm like, if you're wanting to get started, you just want to get into it, just take a goddamn deep breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Make sure your ribs expand. That's all you need to get started. Once you get into the flow of things, then you can start looking into like the box breathing and the lion's breath and single nostril breathing. And there's all different types of techniques, and you can find something that suits you best. But if you don't do breathing, just start off with just taking deep breaths. 5 minutes of deep breaths. The no bullshit breathing exercises are a really good place to start. Number 5 is seed cycling. This is probably the most underrated and easiest way to start cycling your food or syncing your food to your cycle. So you use flax seeds and pumpkin seeds during your follicular phase. And so this supports the follicular and ovulation phase. And then you use sesame and sunflower during your luteal and menstrual phase. You just basically alternate over 2 weeks. So first 2 weeks is the flaxseed and the flax seeds and pumpkin seeds. The second 2 weeks, follicular and menstrual, are then your sesame and sunflower seeds. These are relatively inexpensive, great for hormonal balancing. Comment down below if you want to go deep dive into seed cycling. I can explain why these seeds are good for your hormones and what it helps. It really is just it comes down to these seeds are supporting the fluctuations of certain hormones. So you are basically supporting your hormonal fluctuations. Number 6 is barefoot grounding. One of the things I always recommend to my clients, because it's an easy one to do, and you double down on getting sunlight in the morning. When you wake up and you have opened your eyes and can see again, because if it's anyone like me, I open my eyes and I can't see for the first 10 minutes, is to head outside, put your feet on the ground, whether it's grass, whether it's soil, whatever you are, however you're connected to the earth. You do that before 9 a.m. and that grounds you. It's absolutely phenomenal. There's some amazing research done on this, which is very, very exciting. If you're a little geek like me, you can go check out those research papers. 10 minutes on grass, soil, ground, beach, whatever it is. You just get 10 minutes in. This supports inflammation, it supports sleep, and it lowers cortisol. And it just connects you back to, I guess, where you come from. Whatever you might believe, I just feel like this really just connects you with the earth and I don't know how to explain it. It's just super powerful, right? We've got all this energy and life flowing within our natural spaces. And that is, to tap into that is just absolutely incredible. This is incredibly potent during your luteal phase as well. Our luteal phase can really be used to ground ourselves, to reflect, and to kind of plan for our next cycle coming up, right? You're preparing yourself for your menstrual cycle or your menstrual phase, but you're also reflecting and getting a good understanding of what you're going to do different over the next 28 days or your next cycle. So using this your luteal phase to ground yourself, like utilizing that ground, going out, really being grounded and reflecting on what worked for you, what didn't, what you want to carry through with you, what you need to change. That is a really important time. And I know, like, sometimes for some women, the luteal phase can get quite crazy. And I recently dropped a podcast on the feeling of being in your luteal phase and being on social media, and how I was dealing with a big imposter syndrome. And the moment my menstrual cycle started, that disappeared. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, it's maybe just my PMS luteal phase. We get some women experience a little bit of crazy thoughts. We get a little bit down. We get, self-conscious or weary or whatever the case may be. And I think utilizing the ground and grounding ourselves can be incredibly impactful and powerful to kind of move on and help you with your next cycle. Next up is castor oil packs. Castor oil packs, I would like kind of peg in with the salt one. Celtic salt can be expensive. Castor oil can be expensive, but you can also you can get relatively inexpensive castor oil as well. There is a difference. You do get like cold pressed versus I don't know what the other one is because it just says castor oil on the bottle. So it depends on how fancy you want to go. At the end of the day, my belief has always been that whether you start something, if you started on the basic level or the most advanced level, even if you start on the basic level, you're still doing something impactful in your body or for your body and for yourself. And as you progress and grow and learn and you invest in a better oil, you're most likely going to see better results. But it's not like you wouldn't see any results with an okay castor oil. So castor oil packs are phenomenal. They're great for liver support, digestion. So you get liver packs. You can put castor oil on a liver pack and then place it on your liver to support your liver. You can do it for digestion. Some women put castor oil in their belly buttons. Really, really great for bloating and digestion. Those good things. And then it's also really good for estrogen metabolism as well. Castor oil is just a powerhouse. There's many great benefits of castor oil. I always advise just have a bottle of castor oil in your home, in your house, in your home. Okay. So you can use this during your luteal and menstrual phase for cramps as well and for detoxing. That really helps. And then you can start off, like I said, really basic. Just get a normal bottle of castor oil and just a cloth, and you can then wrap the cloth. I've seen some women do cling film, and they do the cling film with the cloth and the castor oil because obviously you don't want to get castor oil everywhere. That stuff is sticky. So you can do that. You can also get a proper liver pack, like they are designed to put castor oil on and to tie around your body. And you can also get the packs for different parts of the body as well. So you can go fancy, you can get a whole kit for it, or you can just use a dish towel and some normal castor oil and pop it on, tie it to yourself, or hold it there, lie with it, whatever the case may be. So you don't have to go crazy with it. If you really enjoy the castor, like I always would say, if you enjoy the castor oil packs and you've seen benefits and it is something that you enjoy adding into your lifestyle, then go ahead and invest in like a proper liver pack. They last quite a long time, so it's not like you're having to replace them forever and a day. Obviously, you just need to replace the castor oil. Right. Next up is contrast showers. This is my personal favorite in comparison to cold plunges. I'm not a big fan of recommending cold plunges. At one point, I wanted to do cold plunges because it was everyone and their mother were doing cold plunges. And I did a little bit of research on them and I was like, actually, hang on, this is probably not going to be a good idea. If you are a woman and you really enjoy cold plunges and you do like them, I usually advise give them a bash during your late follicular and ovulation phase. I would definitely avoid cold plunges during luteal and menstrual. Your body is just not in a position to take a spike of cortisol to that extent during that phase. We're a little bit more sensitive during our luteal menstrual phase, and just adding just don't bother. Contrast showers is a nice alternative. It's not as intense as cold plunges, but it's still relatively effective. You would basically finish your shower with cold water for 30 to 60 seconds before you climb out. That's pretty easy. At the end of your shower, this boosts dopamine, it boosts circulation, and it helps lymph flow as well. Really great benefits without the unnecessary cortisol spike that a cold plunge would induce. Yeah, not a big fan of cold plunges. I was such a fan. I was like, this looks so cool. I want to give this a go. And then I did research and I was like, maybe not. Like I said, if you really want to give it a go, I would advise choosing the time, doing it on the right time versus just doing it every day. Or just if you want similar benefits, just do 30 to 60 seconds of cold water at the end of your shower. That's just as good. Next up, we've got our tech detox hour. So you want to reduce your blue light to help hack your dopamine levels. So blue light can really affect your dopamine levels, and we're probably all guilty. I'm definitely guilty of scrolling a little too much, especially now in my content creation era. I'm also trying my best to be a proactive, interactive human on these platforms, and sometimes that can lead to being on my phone before bedtime, which is really not good. And I definitely see how it affects your sleep so badly. You want to reduce the blue light. You want to reduce your blue light as much as possible. You can. There are settings on most phones where you can do it so that it shows up a little bit more orange. That can help if you are adamant that you need to be on your phone because you're actually making money, or there's a good reason. We don't need to be on our phones to scroll on social media at night. I mean, we could give that up, let's be honest. So this is really important during the luteal and menstrual phase to reduce that blue light, to reduce the effects on dopamine. We do take a dopamine drop there, and this protects our sleep and our mental health. You can see there's a running theme here. Luteal and menstrual phase, we're sensitive beings during that time. We're 2 weeks out of our cycle. We're sensitive beings, and we just need a little bit more conscious effort into looking after ourselves. Then our last one that I like to recommend is ditch the plastics and the toxins. This can be incredibly overwhelming, but I always suggest to start slow, start simple, start easy, start with one thing. Okay? You do not need to overhaul your whole entire skincare routine. You do not need to overhaul your whole entire house. You can take it bit by bit. You can swap your plastic bottles out for glass bottles. You can swap your plastic Tupperware for glassware. And again, it's not that you have to do it all at once. If you notice that a Tupperware is not doing too good, it's a bit broken, then chuck it away and go buy a glass one instead of a plastic one. Slowly but surely, replace these things. I'm also not a big fan of wastage. You try and be as mindful as possible with swapping out these things. The same goes for beauty products and cleaning supplies as well. You do not need to go buy a brand new dishwasher soap. If you've still got a half a bottle in the cupboard, just finish that half a bottle, and then when you go into the store to buy new, you can go pick out one that would better align with your new way of living. What I did recently is I actually, when I fell pregnant, I had this massive aversion to beauty products. I did not want to use any sort of face wash, any sort of makeup, any perfume. It was bare nothing. Okay. The best I could do was a deodorant, and I had to get the unscented one because I couldn't handle the smell. That only came back, guys, believe it or not, I only got back into wanting to wear makeup and wanting to wear perfume about a year postpartum. Up until a year postpartum, I did not want to touch it. I couldn't handle the feel, the touch, the smell, nothing. And then about a year postpartum, I was like, no, I want to get back into it. I want to do my hair nice. I want to do my makeup nice. You start feeling human again. And I went out specifically to go buy myself makeup because at that point during my pregnancy, I threw out all my makeup. It was old anyway. And I was like, I don't want to wear this anymore. I don't want to do this, to throw it all out. I went and I bought a bunch of new makeup, and I specifically selected a few items that were clean and natural and didn't have any funny, weird things in them. And then there were a couple of things that I couldn't find, i.e. mascara. I struggled to find a good mascara here in South Africa that was a natural mascara. There was one company, but they were out of stock. And when I want something, I want it now. I don't often get to, it can take me months to want something. But anyway, I digress. And so I got a few normal makeup things from a normal drugstore, and then I got a few clean stuff. So you replace as and when you need to, for example. Okay. Now, the energy of biohacking for a woman. Okay. Biohacking isn't about control or punishment at all. It's about supporting your body, supporting your natural system, the natural way you work to optimize and thrive with what we have. Okay. We're designed to thrive. We're supposed to thrive. Okay. So it's not about punishment. It's really just trying to support our bodies the best we can. Okay. Something that I'm quite passionate about is, especially lately, I've been really working hard to take my own advice, but also preaching it a lot, is knowing when to go hard and knowing when to rest. Okay. You can double down on the time when you are able to do things impactfully. And then there are times when you need to sit down, shut the fuck up and rest. No questions. Okay. And that's something that's incredibly important and that I feel I need to work on more, and that I've been trying to help a lot of my other clients, because as women, I see it, I've been teaching for many years and I see how women are just insanely resilient. We will push through absolutely anything and everything. And sometimes we just need to go, okay, I need to sit down and just take a breather, take a beat so that we don't burn out. Okay. I want you to really, if you take anything from this, is to honor your seasons, honor your inner spring, inner summer, inner winter, inner fall, autumn, and honor those seasons and optimize in these seasons and utilize your biohacks within that scope of the different seasons. You don't have to do cold showers in your menstrual phase if you don't want to. I definitely do not. I fell sick during my menstrual phase, luteal menstrual phase, and my sister-in-law was like, do the cold showers. It will help just open the sinuses and just help your immune system, and it will make you feel better, right? She was swearing by this. I sent her a voice note back. I was like, hell no. I'm luteal menstrual. There's no ways. In the middle of winter, in your luteal phase, I am not. That shower is cranked up to hottest as possible, which is also great because the steam helped open up my sinuses and whatnot. So you don't have to do things if you don't feel like you want to. You've got to listen to your body as well. Okay. Ask yourself if this is making you feel good, if this is going to make me become the better version of myself, or is this making me unhappy or uncomfortable? Ask yourself, anytime you do something, ask yourself those things and double down on the things that make you happy and make you feel good, and put aside the things that you're not happy or comfortable with. It's simple as that. And then I also wanted to quickly just go over a few things that you ladies could go and do a little bit more research if you wanted to. Okay, so I pulled up. I'm going to drop the links down below as well for you guys to go check this out even in more depth. I've got the list on my computer here. So there were a few things, a few like research journals and research papers that I just also wanted to cite and just add into this video so you guys can go do some more research. So number one is female underrepresentation in medical and health research. So the title is Sex Bias in Basic and Preclinical Research by Berry and Zucker. This is from the Neuroscience and Biobehavioral Review, a 2011 journal. And the key point here is over 80% of animal studies are done on males. Women's hormone cycles are considered too complex, leading to massive data gaps. So a quote from this journal said, the male bias leads to incomplete understanding of female physiology and poor translation to clinical care. Number two is the infradian rhythm and why it matters. The infradian rhythm, implications for female health and performance by Stacy Sims. She's got a PhD. Doesn't list in what. I'm sure on the link it will show a little bit more. Dr. Stacy Sims. And the summary of this is Dr. Sims argues that the 28-day hormonal cycle impacts immunity, cognition, energy, and recovery, and needs to be accounted for in health optimization. I'm going to have to read this myself because this is totally down my alley. Okay, the key point is standard health advice like fasting, HIIT, keto affects women differently depending on their cycle phase. I could just from experience that she's right. But I would love to read this. Maybe you guys have read it or would like to go further into that it's tickling my fancy. I'm like, bedtime story. Note, this is detailed in her book Roar and supported by her research publications. I will drop a link to the author's summary blog of this as well. And then number three, intermittent fasting and female hormones. I have not touched on intermittent fasting. You don't want me to because I'll have a full-on 2-hour rant on intermittent fasting. The title is Intermittent Fasting Interventions for Treatment of Overweight and Obesity in Adults, a Systematic Review and Meta-Analysis. This is in the JAMA Network Open, a 2020 journal. Key point over here, while intermittent fasting may show weight benefits in men, evidence is inconclusive or harmful for reproductive aged women. Okay, just let that sink in a little bit. So the relevance here is that fasting may disrupt LH, FSH, and ovulation in cycling women. I'm not a big fan of fasting. I will leave it there. Okay. Number four, cold exposure and the stress response. Title, Effect of Cold Exposure on the Human Body. This is by Castellani and Young in the Comprehensive Physiology Journal from 2016. Key points, cold exposure triggers stress hormones, which can be helpful in moderation, but may disrupt progesterone production in luteal phase or in women with HPA axis issues. Okay. If you know me, you've listened to some of my stuff, I see a lot of women struggling with progesterone issues and a lot of women struggling too little progesterone, too much cortisol. So there's another one that I'm definitely going to be reading up on. And then the last one that I wanted to reference as well was circadian rhythms versus infradian rhythms in health optimization. This is from Sex Differences in the Circadian Rhythm by Bailey and Silver from the Neuroscience and Biobehavioral Review from 2014. And the key point here is that women's circadian rhythms differ from men's and are impacted by estrogen and progesterone. Hormonal cycles also interact with sleep, metabolism, and cortisol differently. And a quote from this journal was, ignoring sex differences in circadian timing can lead to mistimed interventions and misaligned outcomes. Fascinating. So I just wanted to drop those there for you. So if you guys, if any of those tickled your fancy, head down below, grab the links, go read the research papers and geek out a little bit because, that's fun. Like I said, bedtime stories for me. Anyway, ladies, this is a wrap for today's episode. I hope that you could take something really awesome from this video. Let me know down in the comments down below which your favorite biohacks are, which ones you're going to try out. And if you have tried any of these out, let me know how they went and share your experience with me and with all the other ladies who are checking this video out. And we can get some tips, advice, and experience and all that good stuff, because it's supposed to be a community. At least we're working on building the community. And then if you are wanting to get a head start on understanding cycle syncing a little bit more, you can go ahead and grab my free guide, my free beginner's guide to cycle syncing. That's your easiest go-to starting point if you want to get to know about cycle syncing a little bit more. And if you really want to do a deep dive into cycle syncing and balancing your hormones, you can go over and grab my Harmonizing Your Hormones ebook, which goes over a bunch of awesome stuff. There's recipes there, there's tips, there's supplement advice, all the good stuff in there that you can go check out. You'll be able to find all these links down in the description below. With that all said, please go ahead and like and subscribe, as always, right? We all say it, like and subscribe. And I will then see you guys on the next one.